Welcome to the Figure Gore podcast. Here we are. Jamie,
episode 2.
Right?
Yes.
We have some amazing guests. We have Joe Tong, a comic book artist, and fucking
Pondo. That's right.
Sorry, and for those who aren't familiar with, go ahead.
Sorry, we didn't have an opening song. I think we was gonna choose Aerosmith's "Dude Looks Like a Lady," but something happened to it. I don't know.
We couldn't get the rights.
Exactly. Yep. Aerosmith went. You want to use it for what?
For those who don't know, Pondo is a pro wrestler, deathmatch specialist, actor, and of course, a horror enthusiast. Did I miss anything there?
Dumbass. All around dumbass.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but
now I just want to, before we get into the horror aspect, I want to bring up the one thing that you've been doing a lot lately is that walking across that bridge.
Yeah.
I have. I was 326 pounds and having a lot of trouble walking to my front door. And then so finally I decided, hey, it's time. So now I'm down to 257 pounds. There's a walking bridge here that goes from Indiana over to Kentucky and then, of course, back. Otherwise, you're stuck in Kentucky. And I walked that 6 months in a row. Not one night did I miss 6 months of it. Now it's getting colder. Fuck that bridge. But while I was walking the bridge, I walked that bridge, rain, protest, loot, lightning, whatever. 6 months I walked that bridge.
I was following those live feeds you were doing because you got a group of people that was going with you.
Well, they slowly faded out, but yeah, for my birthday, that's the only thing that I asked for is that people came and walked the bridge with me, and we had 24 people and a dog.
And a dog.
And a dog.
That is amazing.
I appreciated those posts because I'm someone who was a lot bigger before, and not to get too sappy, but when you're dealing with weight stuff, you can feel very alone. So I really like your posts all the time, Pondo, because it kind of makes me like want to keep going and you know, especially if I'm having a tough day. And like I said, not want to get too sappy, but I think you really encourage people. So keep posting them because people are looking at them and they're being inspired by those.
Well, and unless it warms up, I ain't doing that bridge. But
well, you can do something else. Yeah, you don't have to be out.
Yeah, I have a treadmill downstairs in my front room, so I'll probably do that. Who would have ever thought that I would be a role model? Hell no, I didn't think that.
Well, I got to jump on the bandwagon too. Then you got me walking. And, you know, I started out after watching a couple of your videos. I started doing some walks here. Then I made the mistake of telling Sid that's what I was doing. So then Sid would get up with me, and on the phone, we would do a walk together, and he would have me doing stretches and exercises. And I swear to God, I'd walk by a Tim Hortons here, which is like a donut place, and everybody thought I was drunk or on acid or something because I'm doing these duck walks. But yes, you got me going on that too.
Well, again, who in the hell would think I would be a role model to anybody? But hey, I'll take it.
But you're our sole role model. English. I'm going to try it in English this time. You're also a role model to us in this category, which is horror, because man, you are like a king of horror.
Man, I my first 3 jobs in high school was video stores. So after you've watched all the good videos, then you got to start getting into the B videos, and then you get into the shitty videos, but you still watch them because they're horror movies, you know? So there's really not too much out there that I haven't seen of the past. And people challenge me all the time, and they'll be like, hey, have you seen blah, blah, blah? Me and you did that, Robert. And remember, we went through like 5 or 6 movies until you finally come up with Bite. And I'm like, no, I never saw Bite, but I watched Bite now, so.
And that was lucky. This is an Ontario film. So I was pretty confident you hadn't seen this one yet because it's not like a worldwide release. It is now, but it wasn't when we spoke.
Oh, really? So it's, well, like I was telling you before we got on here, I watched a YouTube thing of the 21 or some number most disturbing movies, and Bite was one of them.
What was number 1?
Shit. Probably Serbian film.
Yeah,
That one I haven't seen. I haven't been brave enough to do that one.
I have. Okay.
You have? Okay.
I understand.
I was paranoid to watch it, because of everything they say. And I watched it and it's interesting, but you're right. There is some scenes in there where you're like, ooh, but it is just a film.
That's what you have to keep in mind. Yeah.
When I got Serbian film, I was living with Mickey Knuckles at the time. She's also a female hardcore deathmatch wrestler. And her and her boyfriend got into it. And of course, she's got the sniveling cries. And I said, hey, just come in the living room and watch this movie with me. And she's like, what is it? I said, Serbian film. And she said, well, have you seen it already? I said, yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. I hadn't seen it yet, but I was just trying to get her to stop crying and come watch a movie with me. And about that time this scene came up, I'm like, Mickey, I'm fucking lying. I never saw this movie.
I know what happens in it. I've read a lot about it and the filmmaker and stuff, but I'll do it, but I'm a little leery to get into it.
Well, here's the thing about Serbian film.
Sure.
So you already know that it's got a lot of fucked up things in it. So the minute you see this huge fucked up thing, you're like, all right, that's got to be it. And then I'll be damned if they don't top that. And then you think, okay, that's got to be it. And then I'll be damned if they don't top that. I mean, this movie is just like I'd be sitting on the toilet and this scene from this movie would hit me in the head and I'd be like, damn it, get out of there.
You're not really selling it, Pondo. I don't know if I want to watch
it. For Insane Clown Posse, I had this horror movie massacre thing that we did every week. And that would be my challenge for people to watch Serbian film. Okay. And I gave them my email address. And I would get in capital letters, what the fuck is wrong with you? They would watch it, But
they don't say that already?
I'm sorry?
They don't say that already about you?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't about the film, yeah.
James, hello, friends. What's our topic? Today, our topic, just like always, is going to be wrestling and horror. And I guess James is just tuning in. We got Madman Pondo and Joe Tong, comic book drawer, artist extraordinaire. There we go. And then Jamie and I.
I was wondering for the panel, we just had Halloween, and I know we're kind of having Halloween in an unprecedented time. So I was curious what did your Halloween look like?
Mine looked like my bedroom, laying around, not doing a damn thing. But the night before, I did go check out what was this movie called? It's Snow Hill is the last words. It's a werewolf movie. Shit, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I get hit in the head way too much and forget things. But something of Snow Hill, and it was a werewolf movie. It was kind of slow, but I mean, shit picks up every once in a while, and it was all right, but not the American Werewolf in London werewolf movie that I wanted.
That's a hard one to top, the American Werewolf in London. Joe, what did you do for Halloween?
True that.
I worked.
Oh.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
And Rob?
Well, I tried to give out candy. Unfortunately, we only had like 3 people come to my door. Oh, there it is. The Wolf of Snow Hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, The Wolf of Snow Hill. That's it.
I'm writing that one down.
It's an okay film. Not too bad. Not terrible, but lags in parts, and it's not all about the wolf. There's like the cop fighting alcoholism, just shit that you wouldn't expect in a horror movie that kind of takes the movie over, but then by the end it's about the wolf, and it's like a Godzilla movie, like the wolf's in there maybe 5 minutes, shit like that.
Yes. Hey, not bad. On IMDb, it's a 6.2, and that's not a bad rating on IMDb.
So for Halloween, the day before, I actually watched 2001 Maniacs for the first time, which Pondo is in. And there's also Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself, Actually, I have a little Freddy right here. It's my little Freddy stuffy.
Cute.
For all the kids.
Okay,
And
so
Lin Shay is in it, and Peter Stormare. People might remember him from The American Gods and Prison Break. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And also, if you look really, really carefully, Kane Hodder. He's done some of he was Jason in some of the Friday the 13th. He doesn't have a speaking role, I don't believe. But so I wanted to know, Pondo, what it was like. If you can tell us about what 2001 Maniacs. Oh, there he's got. I think he's got a prop from the movie.
Crazy.
it accidentally fell in my bag.
I hate when that happens.
As I was leaving, I don't know how it happened, but the prop accidentally fell in my bag, and I brought it home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to throw it out. You got to keep it.
Tricky props.
Well, it's
Exactly.
too late to take it back now.
The cotton gin scene when when the cotton gin smashes the guy.
Oh, so that's from okay.
That's awesome.
Well, this one wasn't in the film. It was, but it wasn't the one that the eyeballs popped out on. It was so there was 3 times you saw the head. That was one of the times that you saw the head.
That's awesome.
It's a fun movie, and I just didn't know who was all in it, and so I don't know if Rob and Joe, if you've seen it, but it's really fun. And of course, Robert Englund, he can do no wrong in my books. I just love him. I'd watch him paint a wall. Like, what was it like working with him, Pondo?
Oh, so
Robert
so the Insane Clown Posse has a wrestling company called Juggalo Championship Wrestling, and I wrestle for those guys. Well, the 2 guys that was filming the matches noticed that I was wearing horror movie t-shirts all the time. So they asked me if I wanted to be in a horror movie, and my answer was, fuck yeah. Who wouldn't be? So 1 month went by, 2 months went by, 6 months, 7 months. Finally, they called me and said, hey, man, we got you in this horror movie. It's in Georgia. I can't remember the name of the town, but can you be there? And I said, yes. I said, we're going to give you $40 a night, take care of your meals while you're on the set, and you can just stay in our room with us. And I was like, perfect, right? So I go, and I'm the first one that shows up. Like, I'm staying with the special effects guys. I'm the first one that shows up, and I've got my head down, and I'm filling out my paper, and somebody comes on the other side of me, and they said, hi, how are you? And he said, good. And they said, can we help you today? He said, yeah, I'd like to check in. They said, okay, what was your name? And he says, Robert Englund. It was the gayest moment I ever had in my life. I froze. Like, I couldn't even move, man. Like, Robert Englund is standing right behind me. They didn't tell me Robert Englund was in the movie.
Oh, you didn't know?
How was I? No. They just said $40 a night. Actually, they could have said I'd give them $40 a night, and to be in a horror movie, I would have done it, But so Robert Englund is standing right behind me, and I didn't say a word. He got all the way down, and as that elevator, I picked him up in the ass. Right? So another person that's on this movie, I'm not taking the show over, sorry, but another person that's in this movie was Travis Tritt. Did you realize the guy at the gas station?
Gas station,
yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Cleans the blood off the windshield, yeah.
Yeah. Dead by dawn, or whatever the hell he said, right? So I'm in Georgia. I show up to the set, and all the other extras are surrounded by Robert Englund. I'm like, man, I had this man all to myself and was stupid, right? But then I use my brain. Sometimes I do use the brain. I realize, you know what? I'm in Georgia. So I start tipping to people, hey, did you guys know that Travis Tritt's over there? And they're like, that's not Travis. I said, oh, yes, it is. So they all started mingling over there, and they say, I know I was alone with Robert Englund. Who's the fucking man? I am.
Nice angle. Yeah.
All right. So the next day, it's time to eat. We go to catering, and the first day I sat back and I watched how things were going, right? And I noticed whoever got their tray sat on one side of the table, the next person got their tray sat on the other side, all the way down. So the next day, I made sure that there was one person in between me and Robert England. All right. So for 2 weeks, I sat next to Robert England and ate my meal and listened to this man tell stories of one that comes to mind. He told me how they planned on making a Michael Myers versus Pinhead movie, but because it was 2 different companies, they couldn't figure out which one was going to do the job. So they didn't make the movie, just shit that I want to hear. Just like if he was in this room, none of the 4 of us would be talking. We'd be sitting there listening to him. Right?
True.
Exactly. So after a couple of weeks, and I'm talking about, I would be on set from 4 a.m. All the way to, I don't know, 8 or 9, and then get a few hours of sleep, have to go back out there, which was fine. I didn't care. I'll tell you about that again here in a second. But after like a couple weeks, 2.5 weeks, sitting with Robert was cool, don't get me wrong, but after a while, you just want to eat your food and hurry up and get done. So I'm walking past the table where Robert is, and he says, Pondo, you're not sitting with us? And I'm like, you damn right I'm sitting with you. Robert England invited me to come and sit with them, So now here's the reason I said I would come back to this story. So the 2 guys that got me in the movie said, and your question, the answer is Robert England was fucking incredible. To sit there and listen to the man every day was just, I didn't even care if I ate, I could have starved myself just sitting there listening to Robert England. So the 2 guys who got me in the film, this was my first horror movie, and this is my first movie at all. They said, every day, go down there and get dressed in your stuff. They said they'll use you every day. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm only on the list this day. And they said, screw that. Get your stuff on. Go down every day. They will use you every day. Now, they was telling me that I can make $40 a day, but I didn't care about that. My deal was I wanted to be in this movie as much as I could. So every day, they was right. Every day I would show up down there, and I got into shit that I wasn't even supposed to be. Like the GM and the director was talking, and they was like, hey, we need somebody to drive this car out of town. And the GM was like, well, it has to be somebody SAG. Otherwise, they can't drive it. I waited for the director to leave, and I went over to the GM and I said, hey, I think I'm supposed to drive this car out of town. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, that's you? Okay, yeah. And he's explaining the scene to me, and boom, who's the fucking man? All right. So that's one time. So then if I'm taking over the show, tell me. And if you guys aren't interested in this shit. Okay. So I went to catering, and when I came back, a whole bunch of the extras was holding weapons, right? Not all of them. Maybe 10 of them was holding weapons. My brain, remember, I use my brain every once in a while. My brain told me the guys holding the weapons are the ones that's going to be in the front of the scene with Robert England. So I walked over to this guy who was holding a sledgehammer, and I said, hey, what's up, man? You the other blacksmith? And he was like, no. And I said, oh, shit. Well, I need that hammer to give to the other blacksmith because that's kind of his thing. He handed me the hammer. Boom. Who's the man? Back up in the front of that scene, right? So then the 2 guys who got me in the movie said, no matter what, if they ask you, say yes, you can do it. They said, we don't care if they ask you if you can speak Japanese. Say yes, all right? get in that scene. So it came to a point, and this didn't even make it in the movie for good reasons, and I understand why. But I do have a picture with this thing, right? So they asked if anybody had any horse experience.
Oh no!
I ain't never been around a horse in my fucking life. I might have rode a horse and a stick when I was a kid, but a horse, no. I never. But listen to what the guy said. I said, yes, I do. And will come with us. Hey, bring me over to this horse. It was like a fucking Clydesdale. Like this thing was. I think my head was to the middle of the horse. I'm like, holy shit. And they're like, all right, what we need you to do is get on this horse and ride it past the scene that's going on, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is there was a scene going on down the hill, but they wanted me to ride the horse behind the scene. So I'm talking to this horse. I'm like, guy, you got to help me out here, and I'm petting the horse. I'm trying to be nice to the horse. So I've seen cowboy movies. I watched Tombstone, I love Tombstone. So I put my foot in one of these holsters. I don't even know how I knew the name was a holster. Dropped my foot over to the other side. And I sat on this horse. It jumped forward. I fell back and landed on my back, and both my feet landed on both sides of my ears. I mean, fucked up for a good second. And I stood up, and the director came over. He goes, "You don't have any horse experience, do you?" No, I don't. So he's like, "All right, just pull the, So still did the scene. They didn't put it in there, but I took a picture with this horse. If you go on Facebook and you go to 2001 Maniac file and you see me with a monstrous horse, that's when I fell back up. So the moral of this story is, so you guys know what dailies are?
Yep.
Dailies are what they're all in sync and anything, but they watch the dailies. I was only.
Oh, we lost him. He'll be back in a second. Man,
while we're waiting, the stories he is saying, Pondo does have a book out, so Memoirs of a Madman that he and John Cosper did. So,
there we go.
You can also read about it. Hold it up there again.
That looks amazing.
What did I leave off on?
There we go. No, you just disappeared right probably when you hit sign back in again.
I was showing your book while you were absent.
Okay. So the dailies, the director starts watching the dailies, and he called the two guys that got me in the movie and said, "Hey, what the fuck's wrong with your guy?" And they're like, what'd he do? And they said, he's in this part of town. And then in the scene, he's also in this part of town. And then the next scene, he's in this part of town. What the fuck's wrong with that guy? Well, guilty as charged. Who's the fucking man? I made it all through that movie. So you can more or less play a drinking game by, hey, there's Pondo. Take a shot.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know. I got my night planned.
It's a fun movie. I really
there you go.
it. And it's on. I don't know. I'm in the U.S. living right now, but it's on Amazon for USP. I don't know where you access it on Canada, but it's a fun movie.
I'll see if it's on.
I'll tell you a funny story. I'll tell you a funny story. Are you guys familiar with Necro Butcher?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen him live.
Anyway,
I think Rob needs an explanation. Necro Butcher is a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie The Wrestler?
Yes.
Okay. Necro is the one who was stapling himself and window broke over his head. That's my buddy Necro Butcher, right?
Okay.
And we were sitting around one time. He said, "Man, the movie you was in was so cool." And I said, "Necro, the movie you was in was nominated for an Oscar." And he said, "Yeah, but mine didn't have drugs and titties." And so 50-50,
Gotta have your standards.
He's got his priorities straight. I tell you another funny story though. I was working as an usher in a movie theater in Charleston, West Virginia, and they played The Wrestler for like a week or something. All the people was in their movie theaters and everything, and these two older people start leaving the movie theater, and I said, "Excuse me, was there a problem?" And they said, "Yeah, we came to watch The Wrestler, and it was an excellent movie, but this guy started stapling himself and bleeding and all this shit, and I didn't even say a word. I'm just like, I'm very sorry. There's the boy."
Yeah.
I didn't say, "Hey, that's my good friend. Yo, I do that shit." I didn't say none of that. I'm like, "Yeah, take your popcorn. There you go. There's the door."
Speaking of death matches, I'm curious why, Pondo, you decided to go into death matches. Do you think your love of horror had something to do with that?
Well, so when in Flora, Illinois, this is in the book. I'm from a small town in Flora, Illinois, and you're a wrestling fan, so you might remember the pay-per-views that WWE was doing every Sunday called In Your House.
Yep.
Okay, so me and like a whole shitload of my friends, week after week, would gather up the $50 and sit around my house, not in your house, sit around my house and watch the pay-per-views. The thing about that is, I'm an observer, man. I'm a people watcher, and during the matches, you know, we're messing around. We're not even watching the TV. You know, we're getting up, we're eating and stuff like that. But the main event we always watched. You know how that is. So, jump forward. Do you know what tape trading is?
Yes.
Okay, for those who don't know what tape trading is,
Joe is still tape trading, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you really?
A little, yeah.
Wrestling?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Definitely.
Well, anyway, I had so many. I had a whole wall of videotapes. My mom, you know, at my mom's house, she's like, "Can you get this shit out of here? Why is this even at my house?" So anyway, I had all types of videotapes. So after the In Your House pay-per-views, my friends was always like, "Pondo, throw in one of those death matches," right? So I would throw in a videotape that I had from Japan or Puerto Rico of death matches, and all eyes were on the TV. So I'm like, dude, this is, you know, if this impresses my friends, this is what I can do to get my name out there. So that's how death matches and Madman Pondo got together. Now we're kind of married. Now I don't think I can give them up. Probably won't give up death matches until they give me up, you know, like a marriage.
I hear that. Well, then what drew you into horror? What do you remember your first horror film being?
So horror came before wrestling. You know, I was the same as everybody. Black and White Dracula and Frankenstein, Wolfman, Invisible Man, all those movies that they would play on Sunday at noon and shit like that, you know, and then the Saturday night shockers at night. You know, I just loved horror. I loved horror movies. All the kids in school knew that I was all about horror movies. So people come to my house all the time expecting all this wrestling memorabilia laying around, and it's not. I've got LJN toys, you know, all the rubber characters. I got all those. All the rest horror. You know, I mean, I'm way bigger of a horror fan than I ever was a wrestling fan. Yes, I am a wrestler, but if I could be in more horror movies, I would. I mean, I'm all about some horror movies. And then, like I was telling you guys, out of high school, I don't remember if the show was going or not, but out of high school, well, still in high school, my first 3 jobs was video stores. So when you work at video stores, you take videotapes home for free. And after you've watched 50 of the good ones, there's always 50 more of the shitty ones, and you still watch them. And then, maybe 25 of the shitty ones stick in your head, like Mother's Day. The posters, if you might see that behind me, the poster for Mother's Day was hanging up in the video store where I was at. I couldn't wait to watch it, So that had a lot to do with my love of horror. But yeah, man, I remember the Saturday Night Shockers out of St. Louis. I lived in Florida, Illinois, so we got the St. Louis TV channel. Saturday Night Shockers would, after 11, they wouldn't censor cussing and they wouldn't censor nudity, right? So you remember the movie Squirm with all the worms?
All the worms?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, you remember that ugly redheaded chick in there?
She wasn't that bad.
That ugly redheaded chick's titties showed in that movie, and it showed on my TV. Holy shit, was I focused in on the TV. It didn't matter how ugly I thought she was. I was like, holy shit, there's a pair of titties on my TV. So, and plus they played Benny Hill, and they never censored any of the Benny Hill stuff. So I'm like, holy shit, there's more titties on my TV. And of course, mom and dad's in bed by 10. So shit, talk about whack material. I had it going on.
I think everybody had those shows. I know up here it was Big Chuck and Little John on a Detroit station. And then there was also one on Channel 62, a UHF station. I can't remember what it was called, but it would play those B-grade horrors over and over again. And like you said, uncensored, because nobody's watching at that point, they think,
Oh,
so,
except me.
Yeah. Apparently just a handful of us. Yeah, for probably the same reason.
I hear you.
Joe, what got you into horror?
Oh, geez. Since very young age, definitely. I know there's something about it. I think my first movie I've ever watched was I think it was Tourist Trap. If you guys.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was creepy for me at that age because some of the deaths in there.
What was that guy's name? Chuck Connors.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He was the lead guy.
Chuck Connors.
Right.
Here's my problem with Terrorist Trap. I don't know if you remember this or not, but back in the day, a gay porn came out with him. Which gay porn, if you want to do gay porn, whatever you want to do. But he wore a sailor hat the whole time, and I thought that was hilarious. So the whole time I'm watching Terrorist Trap, all I can see is him with that sailor hat on, doing some guy.
You gotta have a gimmick.
Okay.
I hear you.
We have a question. We'll pose this to everybody from our Facebook. Unfortunately, they didn't log in the right way, so we can't see their name, but it says pick one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 74, Night of the Living Dead, which is 68, I believe, Evil Dead from 81, or Last House on the Left from 72. If you could only pick one.
For me, this is easy because one of my favorite movies, and I get criticism for this all the time. One of my favorite movies ever is Last House on the Left, the original. It's by Wes Craven. I know people are shocked. They're like, the women get really assaulted. Like these girls are kidnapped by these three people who kind of just got out of prison, and they're assaulted brutally. It's not an easy watch, but it's so gritty. It's so raw. And there's a great revenge sequence. I don't want to spoil if people haven't seen it, but it's just, it was unlike any movie I had ever seen in my life at that point. And the remake is okay, but it's polished, so it kind of loses some of the qualities that made the first one so great. And I'm kind of almost obsessed with it. I've read a lot about it, like of the different actors in it and different things, and watched the commentary several times. It's just, that's my favorite.
Nice. Joe, what's your pick?
Jamie, it makes me wonder how many people made you pee your pants in the past.
That's in the movie, so people know. Yeah.
Joe, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'm damaged.
Night of the Living Dead for me.
Yes, I have to say that's mine too.
Yeah,
I'm a George Romero's zombie junkie.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Pondo.
And mine's got to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so when The Exorcist got re-released, I don't know if you guys remember that or not. I'm a 13-year-old kid going to the movie theater to see The Exorcist, and I had all these adults coming over saying, "Hey, you might want to sit with us, little boy." And I'm like, "Nah, man, it's all good." But I had read everything that was going to happen in the magazines. I just wanted to see how they made it look, right? Well, about that time she started finger banging across, you know. I mean, I started laughing, and all these adults are turning around like, what kind of hell child is in this theater right now? But my
and he's alone.
Yeah, maybe somebody make me pee my pants. Why not? So anyway, the point I'm trying to make with that is, The Exorcist I got to see when I was 13 years old. I didn't get to see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre until VCRs put it out. And videotapes when they first came out were $100. I don't know if you guys all remember that.
Yeah,
I do.
So me and a bunch of friends, we went and hunted cans all over town, and we got up to like $89. And my buddy Billy's mom gave us the rest of the money. So we bought a copy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that tells you how invested in Texas Chainsaw Massacre I was, that I wanted to see it. Just kids today don't realize it's like Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman. You can pop in a Blu-ray now and watch that, but you guys got to remember, back in the day, we didn't get to watch that shit until Christmas season, you know. So it's kind of like that. But
Definitely.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like I went, I got booked in Texas, and the guy said, "How much did you want?" I said, $250, $200 if you take me to go eat at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. So he went ahead and gave me the $250, but he took me to the house to eat, and I ate ribs in the feather room. Right.
Oh,
so
nice.
then we went to the graveyard, and I jumped up there on that one and was hugging it, just like the beginning of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the groundskeeper came out, and I'm like, "Hurry up, take the picture, hurry up, you know." I got kicked out of the graveyard of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then just last year, I set up a girl fight show in Texas so I could go spend the night at the gas station. My buddy Roy Rose now owns the gas station, and it's like he has cabins in the back, you know. So yeah, I'm Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now I'll tell you, if you guys got time, I go to a bunch of horror conventions. You guys go to horror conventions?
Oh, when they are around, yes.
Before COVID, yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. So I have 3 people who are very shitty to me. All right. Number one was Linda Blair. Linda Blair she has 2 tables, right? The first one is her Humane Society table. The second one is her Exorcist table. If you give to her Humane Society table, she treats you like gold. If you don't, she treats you like she's the Exorcist. You know, she's spitting green shit all over you. So,
well, that's no fun.
I didn't want to meet Linda Blair because she loved dogs, right? So I didn't care about that table. And of course, her husband's like shaking his head no, that I didn't give no money to that. So she treated me like garbage. But I got my picture with her, got her autograph and all that shit anyway. So that was number one. Number 2 was Shawnee Smith, who was Amanda from Saw, the first one to have the mandible claw thing.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
All the other people that signed my Saw poster personalized their names, you know, like Tobin Bell put Jigsaw, Carrie Ells put Dr. whatever the hell his name was, you know. I asked Shawnee Smith if she would do that, and she treated me like garbage. Like, no, I'm not doing that, you know. So that was number 2. Number 3 was David Hess.
Oh, he's from Last House on the Left.
He is. You're right. Yeah. So I walked up to his table and I looked down at his pictures, and I don't know if this guy was just having a bad day or what. I'm looking down at his pictures, and he goes, "You want a picture?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm looking." So I'm looking and looking. And he goes, "Do you want a picture or not?" I'm like, "I'm looking." And then he said it a third time, so I just walked away, and he's yelling at me. So I don't know if that's one of my reasons why I'm not big on Last House on the Left. But, you know, I will say, you was talking about that remake, but that remake did have that microwave scene that made the whole movie for me.
Oh.
That was the best part of the movie. Yeah, there are some good things. I was so enamored with the first one and how raw, like I said, and gritty it was. So I still gave it a chance, and I was excited they were remaking it, which I'm not always, I don't know about you guys, I'm not always excited about remakes, but I was willing to give it a chance. Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be done well, and it's got to take it to a different type of place, you know?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that microwave kill in the new Last House on the Left did go to a new place. And it's a very good effect. Yeah.
So awesome. So awesome.
So, Jamie, did you have another question?
So you guys are waiting on me to talk. I talk too damn much.
No. We're all trying to make sure we can ask our questions. I wanted to know, because Pondo, you have some interesting horror-inspired tattoos. I was wondering if you could tell us about.
Well, I have on the back calf the tall man from Phantasm. And I had him sign it, and I inked it in. And then it's not so much horror movie, but I have the only tattoo that David Gore, Odorous Urungus from lead singer, he autographed and tattooed his name into my leg, and so I have an Odorous Urungus tattoo on my leg. And he was wearing his
garb too. He wasn't like just like we're dressed. Like he was in the full Gore regalia. Yeah.
No, he didn't. No, I don't think he would have been able to tattoo that well with that. That was at a convention after I got the tattoo done.
Okay, I misspoke. Okay.
No problem.
Because I saw the photo.
That would be very cool if he had that shit on when he tattooed me, though.
But you have a picture of with him wearing it. I saw it on Facebook.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, I just didn't know when it was taken. So very cool.
Me and David, we were friends. Like not only, because he came and he wrestled Tracy Smothers, God rest his soul, who just passed away. Odorous Urungus for me wrestled Tracy Smothers on my show. He went to Japan and he would do concerts in Japan, and he would write me things like, Pondo, we're killing it over here. You'd be so proud of us. And I'm like, dude, you're Gore. I'm proud of you already. What are you talking about? You know? Just shit like that. Dave Brocky was one of the coolest guys on the planet Earth.
Nice. We did have a question from another. I think it's the same guy. I wish I knew who it was. Thoughts on the Italian movie Cannibal Holocaust from 1980? To me, it is just one of the. It is one of the depressing movies ever made. Oh, and there we go. Aviar. His name is Aviar.
Animal deaths are my kind of limit. Like, especially in this movie, they're real. Like, if it's staged, I still get upset because I love animals. But so I've watched Cannibal Holocaust, but I had the little cheat sheet and I fast forwarded because I couldn't do it. I would have thrown up. That's just and he's got a poster. Pondo's got a. Can you show us again, Pondo? There we go. Oh, and it's signed. Who signed it?
Oh, nice.
The man signed it. Javier signed it.
Cool.
Or whoever the hell, however they say his fucking name.
I'm not familiar with the director's name. Yeah.
Let's see here. One more too. Then The Hills Have Eyes is great too. The original. Just want to add that. Yes,
I agree.
Michael Berryman. You can't. Yeah.
If you guys know anything about me, I don't smoke weed. I don't do pills. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not straight edge. I just don't do the shit. But Michael Berryman asked me if I wanted to get high with him, and I said, "Sir, yes, sir."
I think you have to in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was probably the worst. I was probably the worst weed smoker there was. I couldn't make it without coughing or anything. See his little scrawnied up fingers on that joint just puffing away. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad that I got to experience that.
How did you end up meeting Michael Berryman?
at a horror convention.
Okay.
To my friend, 42nd Street Pete, and a bunch of guys. They would rent a hotel room in the same place where the convention was, so they was the party. Well, these horror movie guys, they wanted the party, so they'd come up there to the room. Like I partied with Tony Todd. I partied with
Candyman.
all these Candyman, but John Dugan, Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. These guys would Olivia something from the Friday the 13th. Just all of these guys. David Mears came up there, the new Jason, and would just party with us. And Michael Berryman, of course, people were wanting to talk about I don't know, other things, but I was the one that was like, man, I'm so glad that they brought you back in part 2. Out of all the family members, you was the one that needed to come back. I mean, I shot straight with them and told him what a fan of his I was. And then he started talking about these wolves that lived behind his house. And I acted like I knew shit about wolves. I don't know shit about wolves, but I was trying to get along, and so the conversations just kept going. Well, I'm pretty sure it was the fact that he didn't want to interrupt our conversation, but he wanted to go get high. So he asked me if I wanted to go get high with him. And I didn't even miss a beat. I was like, yes. And I will say it was Michael Berryman is a professional. Like, I don't think I should have had my lips on this weed that I was smoking because I was pretty fucked up afterwards. But I still have the story that I smoked weed with Michael Berryman.
That is awesome. That's hilarious.
Well, I know something Rob and I were talking about in the first episode. We were talking about kind of Halloween and if we were trick-or-treating, which pro wrestlers' houses we would have to go to and which one we would be too scared. And something that Rob and I both kind of agreed was New Jack. And we're just wondering, Pondo, I thought I saw something on social media about either you guys were going to have a match or you guys were on the same show, because we wanted to get your thoughts on New Jack, because I don't know about you, Joe, but Rob and I have not met him or interviewed him, so we're just kind of terrified of him. So
yeah. I see New Jack. Yeah.
I will say for 31 years, I have done some pretty messed up things to my body for the entertainment of others. And nobody was ever concerned for me at all. Come out that I'm getting ready to wrestle New Jack. Oh my God, the most concerned fans from my life hit my Facebook. Are you sure you want to do this? And all this shit. So then he cut a promo on me. Oh my God, the concern even got to level 8. And people were like, Pondo, rethink your decision. Maybe you don't want to do this, And then I cut my promo on him, telling everybody I was going to give them their own episode of Dark Side of the Ring and all this shit. Then my inbox hit me of, what, do you have retardation in you or what, and all this shit. So here's the thing. I have wrestled New Jack so many times. And as long as you respect New Jack and, like the guys that got fucked up by New Jack are the guys who went against New Jack, I mean, just go with the flow, treat New Jack like a gentleman. Me and him's always going to get along. The problem was when I got there, he had leg surgery. So he managed the guy that I wrestled, but, for a underground fight in Anna, Illinois. Good company, man. But it was good to get to hang out with New Jack again. I got no problem with New Jack, but of course. So let me give you for instance. I know that everybody knows about the mass transit incident. Well, mass transit went against him. The other incident in Tennessee where he stabbed a gentleman maybe more times than what he should have. I mean, maybe one's more than what you should have. But anyway, so maybe that guy went against, that guy wasn't very smart and went against him. I've never went against him. I go with the flow. He tells me, all right, you do this now, and I do it. And we always have pretty good matches. He even says that we have great matches together. If he's ever,
Rob and I are still terrified.
Yeah. If he's, you know what? One of these times when you guys don't have a guest, I will ask New Jack to do this show with you guys. How's that?
Oh boy, Rob. Okay, we'll do it.
Yep.
And Joe, you're coming too.
As well.
No,
I don't know about his
open to
expertise. I don't know about his expertise in horror movies, but he's kind of a horror movie all on its own, so it should work out, I think.
That's where it's
a great horror villain. He should be in a horror movie.
That's right.
He would make a great villain.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to find out from Joe too, because when we got you to do that comic book, I was shown samples of your art, and it was very dark. And I was questioning, because we have a family-friendly Comic-Con. It's like, is this the guy who need to drop it? You did amazing.
Yeah.
Where did you pull your style from? Because I don't know if you have something you can show real quick.
Oh God! Other than the stuff behind me here, I wonder if I have.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I would try that stuff, but not on a family-friendly book. There we go.
But yeah, you can tell from his art that he's a horror fan.
Yes, definitely. I'm a big fan of Junji Ito, if anybody's ever heard of him. He's a
Judge Ito?
Junji Ito.
Okay, I was thinking the OJ Judge.
Not the OJ Judge.
Yeah.
Said I'm a fan of that guy too. Give it to OJ.
Who is it?
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, we have someone on here. It says Madman fucking Pondo from Memphis, was a commentator manager for 3 years myself. Unfortunately, your name's not coming up. If you could type your name in there and send it as a comment, that would be amazing. This StreamYard is great.
He said he's from Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis had a company. Memphis had a company called Kick-Ass Wrestling. Funnest company I ever went to. There was strippers running around half naked. There was, of course I didn't partake, but there was, alcohol everywhere, weed everywhere, shit, and anything goes. Like I was jumping off of balconies onto Too Tough Tony and stuff like that. Of course, I can't do that now. I'm 51 now. Like my spleen would shoot out my asshole or something like that. But back then, man, I was having a great time at Kick-Ass Wrestling. I think that's probably where this guy was from.
Okay.
Pondo, are there death matches that or weapons in a death match that you no longer would do? I think you talked about maybe in the book, I think it was the bed of pencils. Like, are there things now that you're just like, nope, not going to do that?
That bed of pencils can kiss my ass, boy. Like, I still have graphite in my back today from it. And about this far from my crack, there's a purple line that goes down almost to my asshole from that, where a pencil stabbed me. Like if I have sex with a girl, I got to back out of the room so she doesn't think I got a big shit stain on my crack or something. But those pencils poisoned my body for 6 days. 6 days, man. Like I was in agony from those. I can't explain why. I have stopped other wrestlers from doing pencils because of it. So that happened. I was living in Charleston, West Virginia then, and that happened in New Jersey or Delaware. And I had to, after landing in the pencils and them starting to affect my body, I had to drive 17 hours home with an Asian wife in the passenger seat at the time who didn't drive, and Gypsy Joe in my backseat bitching about when we're going to be home, motherfucker, shit like that. So that made that trip the trip home very strenuous. And then the next day, I'm a Yankee fan, whether you know it or not. Oh, this is a fucking insane clown posse hat. Sorry. Normally it's a Yankee hat. I told you, man. I get hit in the brain too fucking much.
We were all like, anyway, "What baseball team is that?"
Right. So the next day, me and my wife and another friend had tickets for the Yankee game at the Cleveland Indians Stadium. So from Charleston, that was 4 hours to there in agony. And then the seats were so comfortable. No, that's a fucking lie. The seats are terrible. And so, 6 days of I still went to work. I was delivering pizzas in. It was just the worst shit ever. And I tell everybody, don't land on pencils.
Good advice.
Yeah, it's
very good advice. That and razor wire. I never fuck with razor wire because, razors are meant to cut. Barbed wire is meant to scratch. Razors are meant to cut. Trying to think. I think that's the only two. Well, I'm not a big fan of fire. Like, I've got my arm caught on fire before. I used to jump off of balconies like they were nothing. Now I look up at them and get dizzy. So I'm all good. I mean, I'm 51. I'm still doing death matches. I know, stupid. I know, but I just can't leave the stuff alone. But here's the thing. Like I said, I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not addicted to alcohol, but I can't leave wrestling alone. So
addicted to death matches. That's what you're addicted
to.
Yeah. The gentleman got back to us. His name is Joseph, and he said he was from VCA.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what VCA is. Elemental P, for all I know. I get hit in the head way too fucking much to know what VCA is.
Well, usually there's a W in there somewhere for
exactly. I can't even think of what Vacation Championship Association. I don't know what the hell a V would be. VCA.
Victory. I don't know.
Victory Championship. I don't know. Joseph, where the fuck are you from?
Tell us.
We need to know. Pondo, people can be really critical of wrestlers who do death matches. Like some people in pro wrestling, the pro wrestling community or pro wrestling fans, they just don't want any part of it. And I'm just wondering what you have to say about that, because people can be so critical of it, but kind of why do you do it? Velocity Championship.
Velocity Championship Wrestling. Wait a minute. Wrestling? So it's VCW, not VCA.
Oh.
I don't know. I probably was
maybe Joseph got hit in the head a few times too.
This is actually a great question because we can ask both. Because I know Joe's a huge fan of them.
Okay, so open it up because there are people. I encounter people like I'm the book editor for SlamWrestling.net, and just through interviews, a lot of people they just don't. If you kind of ask them, or it comes up when they're talking about death matches, they're just not into it. They don't consider it a part of pro wrestling. So what do you guys say to that?
Well, I get it. I get, because wrestling is not supposed to be real. We all know that, but death matches are totally real, and I get that part. There's a market for everything. All right, Chikara does comedy wrestling. There's a market for that, so I don't put that down. NWA does the normal technical wrestling. I don't put that down because there's a market for it. Ring of Honor jumps around and goes fucking nuts, and Lucha Libre, there's a market for it, so I don't put it down. So here's the thing about deathmatch workers. We're wrestling fans before we were deathmatch workers. So we don't put down the comedy or the Lucha Libre or the technical wrestling. I mean, I've never once heard a deathmatch worker go, "Ooh, a fucking headlock, gross." I've never seen that. So when they put us down, they just don't realize or don't care that there is a market for deathmatch wrestlers as well. GCW is selling shit out. CZW, Cage of Death, sells shit out. Back in the day, IWA Mid-South used to sell shit out, I mean, there's a market for it. So not only is there a market for it, but I've never met a deathmatch worker that was just a straight up asshole. Now, I've met wrestlers that was a straight up asshole, but deathmatch workers, we just want to get along with everybody and have a good time, you know. And it's not like we're trying to steal girls because we're fucking our bodies up even uglier. So we're just trying to get along in this earth just like everybody else. So I enjoy. So here, okay, this isn't a diss, but I tried watching NWA, right? But it's wrestling, okay? Well, there's people who love wrestling. They watch NWA. ROH, they do some brave stuff and, you know, flip and all that. Well, I like that flipping stuff. So every once in a while, I'll watch that. The comedy wrestling, I like comedy. You know, I'll watch their shit. But it's just the thing that our shit's... Okay, so death matches, I'd say, are 50-50, right? And the problem with death matches is anybody can do it. Okay. Now, when I say anybody can do it, I don't mean anybody can make an art form out of a match and make it entertaining all the way through. But definitely there are guys in some hick town that bought a pair of Magnum boots and tied a flannel shirt around his waist and can swing things at people's heads, you know. I get that. And that's a part of death matches, but that's not the art form. And of course, my buddy Spider Boudreaux, rest in peace, let a guy named John Rare hit him in the arm with a box cutter. Terrible shit, but that's what people remember him from. So that worked. My buddy Nick Gage, he did a suicide dive and cut his damn near. I mean, he died. He died in the ring, and they had to helicopter him out. Ooh. But that's death matches. My buddy Necro Butcher cut a big hunk out of his arm on a light tube, and you know. So yeah, there's like a. He's a friend of mine, and I like him, but Jim Cornette hates fucking death matches. And I understand it, right? Jim Cornette is from the old school, but he's got to realize that the old school had guys like Abdullah the Butcher in it, had guys like Bruiser Brody in it, had guys like the Sheep Herders in it. Tiger. You know, who?
Tiger Jeet Singh.
Tiger Jet Singh, yeah. You know, okay, so maybe it wasn't the involvement of death matches as it is now, but those guys were considered deathmatch workers back then, or the word bleeders. They were called bleeders then. Deathmatch workers came later, but bleeders was what they was known as then. And back then, they would make more money for that. All right. Now wrestling's so fucking broke, you're lucky you get, you know, nachos and a hot dog to do it. But back then, it was called red turns to green, and guys would get paid more money for that. So there was some guys who was like, hell yeah, let's do it, you know. So there was bleeders back then. There's deathmatch workers now, and I just try to get along with everybody as best I can.
Well, I have an idea, but I want to hear Joe's answer. Joe, what draws you to the death matches?
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching them for years, probably since like 1997 or something. I think that it was the Mick Foley stuff that I was watching in Japan at the time, and with Terry Funk, just amazing
from
stuff.
Japan.
Yes,
from Japan.
Yeah,
the original King of the Death matches from IWA Japan.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Ever since then, I've been kind of hooked on it. I've got a large collection of tournaments over the years. So yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I think it is?
You know,
curious,
it's so impressive. It's so impressive to me that when I see Terry Funk and Mick Foley, we're on first name basis. You know, I mean, that just blows my mind.
Well, this show actually kind of sums up what I think it is, because I think death matches are the horror movie genre of wrestling.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, this is the horror section. You have your comedies, you have your dramas, you know, but this is the horror section. Cause like you said, it's the bleeders. It's the graphic stuff.
Here's the thing. People call me, wrestlers call me bleeders all the time. But how many of those wrestlers went to Japan 43 times back and forth, went to Mexico 8 times, went to Australia 2 times, England 4 times, Germany 6 times? How many of them was an agent for the Jerry Springer Show? How many of them did a horror movie with Robert Englund? How many of them has touched hot babes who I have no business putting my hands on, but who's the man? Who's the fucking man? I did that too. So yeah, there's just a lot of wrestlers don't understand death matches, but those who do, I get along with better.
Well, Joseph got back to us and he says, yeah, I fucked that up because it should have been VCW.
Okay.
He goes, I think death matches are an art, and I highly respect the men and women who do them. I've always gravitated towards deathmatch wrestling, been following Pondo, Jack, CZW, BJW, GCW, all of those. So mad props to Pondo and all the badass people who do them.
Well, thank you, Joseph. Still don't know where the fuck you was, but thank you.
He is in Memphis in VCW.
Guys come at me all the time like, Pondo, you remember me from Elemental P? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, man. I'm doing my best. I do my best,
Excellent. Well, man, Pondo, thank you so much for being on today. And Joe, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, man. Shit. This show's only an hour and 7 minutes long. Shit, let's keep going.
You got more?
I got plenty more, man.
Hey, I got a question, Pondo. I got a question.
Oh yeah, ask a question.
Who's crazier, you or Jun Kasai?
Jun Kasai is way crazier.
Crazier, yeah.
I don't know who that person is. Can you tell me?
Crazy monkey.
Crazy monkey from Japan. Like,
Okay.
Me and him started doing death matches in Japan at the same time, but my back doesn't look like the road map to Oregon. So.
You should see some pictures. Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have to look him up.
He's very entertaining. He's very entertaining.
I got to find some more tape traders because I didn't get that one.
I think you found one.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
He's in this. Damn it! This shit. He's in this box over here. Not this box. Not that box. This box. He's a horror movie fan. This box over here, she used to have guys tell her to pee her pants.
They did not.
This box over here. Hell yeah.
It's like Brady Bunch all over again.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's a messed up Brady Bunch. Yeah.
I want Joe to draw a horror movie picture of Madman Pondo. Just use your brain.
I think that's a great idea.
Joe,
Make sure you show us all.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll put it on a fucking t-shirt. How's that?
Sounds excellent.
Awesome.
Here we go.
If people are interested for Joe and Pondo, if people want to learn more about you, like what's the best way for them to find you online?
Facebook is good for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too technical. Like I was hoping that I could get in this damn room with you guys, but my real name is Kevin Kennedy, Canady. I think I have 5,000 friends, but you can always write me, and I have my own girls promotion called Girl Fight Wrestling, so you can always come to those. And here's the thing. If I'm ever at a show and you want an autograph, you want to come meet me, I'm the nicest guy in the world. I'm not fucking Linda Blair. I'm not Smith. I'm not that goddamn David Hess. Come on down and just say, hey, what's up, Pondo? And, start a conversation with me. I'm If you can tell on this show, I'm so full of shit. I can go for hours. So come on down and let's talk.
I think this is still Joseph. Jun Kasai is a crazy son of a bitch, LOL, but first time watcher though. Well, then you're in for a treat because there is a ton of fun stuff to watch.
I'm gonna check that out.
Oh, must.
I still want to know where the fuck Joseph's from.
Yeah, VCW.
Or his last name.
Yes.
Yeah, what the hell's your last name? You're getting pretty mysterious here. You're trying to throw us off with VCA, and you're really VCW. You probably got an STD. You're probably an SOB. We don't fucking know. Where in the fuck are you, Joseph? Where the hell are you from?
Joe, where should people look you up? Because I can't just type Joe into Facebook.
Right. Joe Chong on Facebook.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Right there.
Okay.
I have one of my illustrations up that's noticeably mine. So.
Yep. Blue background.
Yes. Blue background.
Just wanted to get that in there so people are not like, oh, I think his name's Joe.
No.
Joseph. Joe.
Yeah.
Let's try this to end
From
things.
VCA.
I'm going to get Joe to recommend to people what would be the one match of Pondo's to watch to see the man in action.
Oh man, there's so many. I recommend some IWA Deep South though.
Deep South?
Mid South, yeah.
Or Mid South?
Yeah. There's Deep South too, but have you wrestled for Deep South?
Yeah, I did. I did that Carnage Cup a couple of times.
I think I might have that. I meant it's been a while.
Here's a couple of things if you want to watch before we do this show again. Me and JC Bailey off a 18-foot scaffold built a spider web of barbed wire on top of the ring, and
that I saw.
There was 3 tiers. Somehow we figured out how to go off all 3 tiers. I one time did a challenge with Marilyn Manson where we put Vicks Vapor Rub in our tear ducts. God, I wish that man would have just said, let's cut each other, because that shit sucked. It sucked
That's
bad.
on YouTube if you want to see it.
That's on YouTube, yep. Also at that table is Twiggy Ramirez is sitting on the other side of me, so I was actually rubbing elbows because there wasn't that much room with Marilyn Manson and Twiggy Ramirez. And Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins is at that table. Marty Bell from TNA, and I hate to say it, but Sarah Logan from WWE was all at this table, but the main focus was me and Marilyn Manson sticking this stupid Vicks Vapor Rub in our tear ducts, and me. Spoiler alert, I beat him, though. I wasn't going to let no man who wasn't dressed on stage beat me. I beat that Marilyn Manson in that shit. But, and then, man, there's this, I get people tell me all the time that they went to YouTube and to watch my stuff and couldn't even finish it in one day. I don't know how to put anything on YouTube. That's somebody else doing that shit. But some things I'm proud of. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's a lot of material.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Pat McAfee from the Indianapolis Colts, and now he's on NXT. We put firecrackers in this guy Jeffy's ass and lit him and stuff on there. I think that's on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just search my name and go nuts. And next time we're on this show, have more questions like, how stupid are you? And I'll answer it. I don't care. It's all good.
Joseph got back to us. He said, laughing my ass off. I used to be in VCW years ago as a commentator manager, and his last name is Tibbs. So it's Joseph Tibbs from VCW. There we go. And he's a huge horror fan as well.
Oh, yay.
Perfect.
Even better.
I
maybe the
do
best
not
way to
remember going. I don't even remember what. I don't remember going to VCW, but I don't remember what I ate today. So, I mean, that doesn't say much, you know.
I think the best way to wrap this up then, Pondo, what would be your 3 films if someone, say, fell off onto the planet and said, what's horror? What would be your 3 films?
I'm going to go with my my 3 that I really love right now that is obscure. Me and Jamie was talking about Mother's Day. You can go to trauma.com and you can watch Mother's Day for free on there. And it's got rape in it. I'll go ahead and warn you now. But what happens to the rapist later is awesome. But it's got these 2 brothers and they're adults, but they fight like they're children. It's just my favorite horror movie ever. And then here recently, I've watched a movie called Girl House.
I love that
has
one.
Me too, right?
Yeah.
And it has a serial killer in there named Loverboy. And it's a horror movie. And back me up on this, Jamie. It's a horror movie for the year 2000 because things happen in there that wouldn't happen in the 19s. So
yeah,
I really like that one a lot. And then it's either Australian or New Zealand, one of them funny talking places, but it's called Wormwood, W-Y Wood, Wormwood, W-Y-R-M Wood. It's it's either Australian. Well, where was Crocodile Dundee from?
Australia.
Okay, it's an Australian zombie film. It's called Wormwood, The Road of the Dead. But some of the dialogue, they're you know, it's very hard to understand sometimes. So if you watch it, just go ahead and put the subtitles on. That way, if you get lost in translation of what they're trying to say, you can at least read.
Oh
no!
Oh,
He was
back.
Joe, do you have 3 you can recommend? Oh, he's coming back.
There he is. We lost you for
I hate technology.
I understand. Trust me.
Either way, but Wormwood is Mother's Day first, Girl House second, and then Wormwood, Road of the Dead third. It's 3 movies that a lot of people haven't heard of, so I would recommend those 3. And Serbian film, Jamie. You better watch Serbian.
I'll write it down, but I'm going to have to message you if I get scared.
It's not that you're going to get scared. You're going to get sexually awkward.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. Help me out, Robert. What am I trying to say? It's not really a horror movie. Horrifying things fucking happen.
Yeah.
But it's...
You know how you're sitting there Robert, with your parents and a sex scene comes on and you get awkward because you're sitting with your parents? Okay, you feel worse than that and you're by yourself.
Ah. Yeah, really selling it, both of
you. You will not be masturbating to this movie. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, from what I've heard about it, no.
So, Joe, what's your 3?
This is one of those sexually awkward movies that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I keep trying to take your show over. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I really like Psycho.
The 1960s.
Oh yeah,
it's the older Psycho.
Yeah.
For probably my number 1 because when I watched it, I was quite young. Once again, Exorcist has got to be 2.
Oh
yeah, Exorcist got to be 2. What else? I saw in the series, like in the whole, it's actually not, it's actually pretty creepy.
I love the first one.
The first one was
it's got a bit of gore and stuff in it, but it's so psychological.
Yes, that's the thing about that. Yeah, very psychological.
I can't argue with those picks. Those are good.
Different.
Any wrapping up words, Jamie?
I guess I'm watching a Serbian film. Send help.
All right, I'm with you. I'm going to watch it. Yeah.
You haven't watched it either? Okay.
So
here we go.
Pay attention to the Facebook feeds because you're going to see some bizarre stuff in the next couple.
Or I'll
of
just
days.
make faces like as I'm watching. Yeah.
What was the face you're gonna make? No, it's gonna be worse.
Oh, okay. Much uglier. Okay, good to know.
I wouldn't say ugly, but I would say disgusted. Your face is gonna be like, "What the fuck did Pondo ask me to watch?"
I'm anxious
I'll do it,
to see
but
the result.
yeah.
And the real question is, where the fuck is Joseph from? Where the hell's he from?
Well, he's from Memphis, or that's where he wrestled, or he was a manager in Memphis. So.
But
I
that's
hear you.
all we know.
I'll keep my mouth shut, and you can close this show out. I'm the worst at this shit.
No, this is great, man. We definitely have to have you back on again. Absolutely.
Yeah, both of you have an open invitation. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
All you gotta do is write me. I'm ready to roll.
All righty.